welcome to this episode of Bullets, Barbells, and Barbecue. I'm your host, Brett. Chris is not here today. I got Matt Deuce here. Are you waving?
Yeah.
Oh. Tanner the Head. We have our show partners, Elite Nutrition Omaha. Check them out at elitenutritionomaha.com.
Elbow, wrist.
Use code B3 at checkout for 10% off. You can go to the Omaha or the Lincoln store and yell B3.
Get a free shaker.
Well, I was just going to tell everybody, and also Steve's giving free rides in the Cybertruck, so just ask him.
Yeah.
Whenever you see it, he'll give you free rides and
Yep.
and do other weird stuff because he has an electric vehicle. We also have Rosewood Block. They make the best cutting boards and barbecue. Check them out at rosewoodblock.com. Use code B3 at checkout as well.
You know what his
And just actually, before anybody knows, we don't get paid by any of these people. So if people think we're taking money from anybody, like these lowlifes like Tanner, we don't get paid. We don't get paid by anybody. These are just like products that we like. Like I said, Elite Nutrition, obviously work with them, but also Rosewood Block makes great product. We like their shit. That's why we talk about them. We're not getting paid. Otherwise, we'd be sponsored by fucking Golden Sheaf and Crown Royal at this point.
Oh, shit.
Steve's reply to anyone who talks shit about the Cybertruck now is that Elon Musk is donating $45 million.
But Trump said he didn't want his money. He goes, I don't need his money. It was nice of him, though.
Yeah. I'm just saying. That was pretty cool. That's his reply.
We're going to talk about some of the worst training advice / experiences you've ever had.
My entire lifting career.
Well, you're fucking
Worst
broken all the time.
experience
Yeah.
Don't.
The
do
worst
it.
advice Matt had was when someone said, you should lift weights. You could be strong. I
It'll
said,
make you healthy.
yeah, I said you could. I didn't think about your tendons or ligaments, dummy.
Yeah. I think what you said a couple weeks ago, like you're a blend of Mr. Incredible and Mr. Glass.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good analogy.
That's
Because you
exactly
can lift a lot of weight, but something's breaking.
But like something's gonna give. Like there's always a trade off for something. It's just like almost a 1-to-1 for me.
What is that one? I don't know if it's like an autoimmune, that disorder where you are frail. It's like a glass. There's an actual like disorder like that.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't ever read like some Nicholas Sparks book or Jodie, but that girl had that, whatever that is, where like if you fall like at all, you're basically like shattering bones.
My wife's seen a couple. She has at least one person
That'd be
they see
fucking
regularly with
awful
it.
to have.
They don't have like Mr. Glass style, but like they fell and broke their leg, and where you would normally just see like the head of the femur would just like break off, like it broke and almost exploded. And so then like there was like a spiral fracture down the femur.
They have to do like they have to do like some infusions to try and strengthen bones and stuff like that. But yeah, people.
So their body must not process calcium right or something, or
I honestly
I don't.
it's a very strange disorder.
Yeah.
You know what? That topic came up the other day. Would you rather be deaf or blind? I'd rather be deaf, like any day of the week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. One of my clients was like, "Oh, I don't know," and I was like, "Really?"
No more ear pro at the range, bro.
Yeah. Bang bang all fucking day long. But yeah, I would way rather be deaf. And I mean, I have like eye problems the way it is anyway, so I would way rather be deaf than blind.
Yeah, I can't see my phone very well. There's a lot of.
You got old man text.
Oh God! It just started. It was like one day I woke up. It's like, oh, well, I have to hold my phone like 3 feet away from my face to be able to see it now.
And you know, like when we had, whenever I had COVID, then my smell was fucked up for like 2 years. Like not being able to smell like a good fart is kind of disappointing too.
You're such a fucking weird.
Because Matt knows it just smells like the same.
It's weird.
It doesn't smell. It
So you
doesn't
don't-
smell right, but it doesn't smell like you're like
Yeah, it
where
doesn't
you're like.
smell good, but it doesn't smell like poop.
And by everybody's fart smells good to them because like you're like
No,
impressed.
it doesn't.
No, because you're like impressed by yourself. You're like, dude, that's
like,
wretched.
If you had the same fart that I had, like I would be able to tolerate mine more
Yeah.
than yours, knowing that it's your poop. And
It's a sense of pride because you fart and you're just like, dude, that's wretched. And then you try to be as quiet as you can until someone else smells it.
And then you just laugh at
Oh
it.
my God. It's the best. Dude, just a hot fart in the car when the other person doesn't know. And you just sit there and you're just like, just stone cold trying not to do anything. You're like, then you have to like look out the window.
Airplanes are my favorite.
Oh man, when Justin and I used to travel to meets, and I know what it was, as soon as we got on the airplane, just crop dusting while everybody's like loading up the plane. Just awful. But yeah, it's a sense of pride.
Yeah.
It's something I obviously worked hard and ate.
Yeah.
Created that
But yours
problem.
are like real, like old musty basement smelly.
Who, mine?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
Yeah, it's like a damn.
Because you're musty on the inside.
Amber and I got home last
something.
night, and I was getting ready to get, and I like farted, and Amber's like, smells like sewer in here. Did you fart? And then like it wouldn't leave.
Ah, the sticky one.
Like I was like, maybe I pooped on the floor and I didn't know. Like it's still like, because I left the bathroom and like came back in there and I was like, does it still smell like my fart in here? And she was like, yes, it smells like sewer. Yeah. Anyway, so what's the? I thought you said you had some, Tanner. Your worst training advice? Was it any routine of your own that you wrote?
I mean, we've all done some dumb ones. Yeah, we've all done some dumb things. You kind of figure out what's dumb by doing it. I think the worst thing that I see.
Sort the dumb shit out before you get older. It's way better for you.
Well, yeah, you may go through a program here. Once again, you may go through a program. I think you should always run your program to the end. Right?
Oh, yeah. You can't say a program doesn't work. You're like, I ran 4 weeks of this thing and it was shit.
Yeah, if it's an 8-week program, run it to the end. And you can be at the end like, oh, that was stupid. It was a waste of time. That's fine. At least you know what not to do. I think one of the things that I think we all kind of get into is like always wanting to change shit up. I think that's a bad, like physiologically, it doesn't really make sense. So if you change exercises for the first 4 to 6 weeks of a change of an exercise, you're going to get stronger, right? And you're going to get stronger, but are you actually getting stronger, or is it the neuromuscular connection that's getting better, right? And I think people get those confused. So like when you follow these people on Instagram or you have these trainers or whatever, they're always changing shit up because yeah, you can progress, but you're never, to me, I don't think you're ever making the strength or muscle gains that you could if you just did the basics and then repeated them, because then your body knows how to do them. And you can, I think you can gauge better whether you're getting stronger, and getting stronger means you're building muscle in some way, shape or form, right? The strength is always the key. Like, it may be 1 rep, it may be 1 pound, but you should, if you're getting stronger, you're getting stronger. And I think sometimes we just mix things up. And believe me, I think it's good sometimes. Get a new exercise in there.
Well, it prevents boredom.
Yes, prevents boredom, right? But it's the same thing with food. If you repeatedly do the same, like if you are doing the same things, right, eating the same types of foods and working, like you may need to change your food because you're bored with it. But if you're eating the same macros and the same foods and you have it dialed in, you're going to make more progress if you stick with it, right? You're going to make more progress working out if you stick with it. Like if you always bench or do like this bench, squat, deadlift, shoulder press, hack squat, like Romanian RDL, like if you do like your basic foundational movements for a long period of time, you will get better at them as long as you're doing them correctly and you're moving forward.
Yeah.
I was talking with a buddy the other day. I'm like, I think the problem is though, when you do the same exercise, right? Like you go to the tricep, let's just say you go to a tricep push down. How many times have you done a tricep push down at the same weight over an extended period of time? Right? Like I do. So just you do 3 sets of 10 at your tricep pushdowns. That's your tricep exercise, and you do them, and you've been doing the same rep scheme and the same weights for 6 months. Well, you didn't do anything to get better, right? If you took the mindset that I just need to do 2 more reps, 1 more rep every time, or add 5 or 10 pounds or whatever it is, and you constantly did that, then after that 6 months, you'd be way ahead.
Yeah.
That's the part that I think people miss. Like you can do the same exercise, but we always have to be pushing. Yeah, and I think the worst advice that some people get is either always having to mix it up or not pushing themselves every single set. Like every set should be as good or better than your last one.
Yeah, I mean, it's that old like SAD principle of your specific adaptations to impose demands. Yep. Like you have to create the adaptation. Like Louis Simmons used to say, once your body has the answers, you have to change the question. Now, when we've talked about West Side before, they would change bars all the time, but they were still doing the same basic movement, just changing how it was. So maybe with a straight bar, you squatted 400, and you would do it he would rotate them every week, just something different.
Yeah.
But maybe a safety squat bar, you only squat like 250 because it's different where the bar's at. You're still...
Effort's the same.
Yeah, the effort's still the same. It's still a squat.
Yep.
It might hit some different muscle groups, obviously. Like a safety squat bar is going to hit some more of your mid and upper back. You know what I mean? It's a very high bar position for a lot of people also. So you're changing it, but you're still squatting. You're changing the demands on the body. Like you said, doing the tricep extension. You add a couple reps. You go up weight. I mean, like, isn't it the Chico program where you just fucking go up 5 pounds every week, basically.
Yep.
He's just forcing you into adaptation.
Yep.
And that's what it is. Or even like Ed talks about, if you get just a little bit better all the time, take that measurement over years, you know, and more than likely, if you do it correctly, like he said, a little bit better, you're probably going to stay healthy.
Yes.
Because you're not like, I have to get like, you know, like
That's
these,
what I did wrong.
well, it's like these dummies who will bench like 435 and think they're going to bench like 455.
Yeah. Me.
No, and he didn't get hurt, but making a big jump like that is more of an increased chance of injury.
I was actually talking to someone about this. I was like, so I went from 435 or whatever to 445 or 4, like, and that was my mindset. Like, your PRs have to be big, right? Like, your PRs.
I tell people all the time, hey, there's 2.5s, there's 5s, there's 10s.
Well, between 435 and 445, there's 436. Right. I mean, I'm not saying you have to go that small, but there's a lot of steps in between to get from point A to point B.
For basic plate weight, there's still 2.5s.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
And I might be able to hit 445 someday, but I probably have a way better chance than if I just really worked on. And once again, when you're dealing with that one rep max, I think it's a little bit different than when you're dealing with like a volume.
Sure.
Mm-hmm. Right? Because sometimes the moon, the stars, and the sun all have to align with the perfect breakfast and the right amount of sleep for you to hit a PR.
And that's probably 9 times out of 10.
Yep. So, but if you are stronger at 8 reps, right? If you're stronger at 6 reps, if you're stronger at 5 reps, and you keep getting stronger, and like eventually it's going to translate. Now, that's also part of knowing your body, right? And knowing like there are some days, okay, well, this is the day I'm going for it because I feel good. Right. And taking that risk. But I think you have to understand where your body's at. Like to say, okay, this will be my 5. I'm gonna go for a 5-pound PR today because I've been hitting it. I feel good. And I feel good in the gym. You have to know that. And you have to be able to take that chance as well. But I think there's a lot of steps along the way that even like me, I joke around. I work in 45s and 25s, bud.
Plates and quarters, bro.
Plates and quarters.
And that's a good theory when you're like a heavier puller or squatter. Until you start getting to your maxes, then that needs to definitely tame down. But I did remind Tanner that him and I have the same max bench. I actually went back and found the video because Matt was my liftoff guy. 435. Same Z's.
We're the same.
But that's probably, I would say, and people jokingly say it, but especially in training, go big or go home is probably the worst training advice you can have. For PRs, like you said, if your previous PR was whatever and you just like smoke it, okay, go big in quotes, you know, hey, go like, maybe you don't need to go a 2.5, maybe you can do a 10 on each side.
Yeah.
But like going from like 350 to like 400, that's a fucking different deal.
Well, and it also depends on where you're at because like whenever you read these studies, they're almost always on untrained lifters. And even a trained lifter in most of these studies is someone who maybe goes to the gym twice a week. Okay. Mm-hmm. So at that point in time, like you also, like if some person online is saying, hey, this study says this, like, is that where you're at? Are you an untrained lifter? Because if you're not an untrained lifter, it's probably not going to work. Like, you know what I mean? So I think there's a lot of information out there.
Well, that's what gave Louis so much street cred is because Louis worked with all high-end people.
He took the 1%ers and made them better.
Yeah. So if you can make the 1%ers better, you can make the nobodies better.
Yep. But the nobodies, like, if you're untrained, we all know newbie gains, right? You all get that kid who just starts in here. He's like, yeah, I went from like 135 and I did 185 and then like did 225 and then, you know, like,
no, I can't get past 235. Like I've been stuck here for like 4 months.
Oh, I've been stuck here for like a week. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like they're in this newbie gain mode, you know, and there is actually physiology to newbie gains. That there is physiology to it. It's
you're just waking up dormant muscle cells that have never fucking been used, like muscle fiber, never been used.
Neural adaptation. Actually, if you're new to lifting, your like muscle protein synthesis like increase lasts longer. So if you're actually really committed, especially like some of these young kids that come in here that really want to get after it, they're new. Well, and then they're like smashing protein and like, well, yeah, you have a freaking longer window. Like, of course. But what happens when you're trained, right? Like once you're trained, and I think we can all fall into bad patterns or whatever. But I think if you, no matter where you're at, if you're always like 1 rep, 1 pound better, You know, if you're always trying to strive for that, I think you're on the right path.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you know what? Listen to some people who have been around for a while. Like I was talking to a kid the other day who I think his bench should be better.
Yep.
And I was like, you need to work. I go, where do you get stuck at? He's like, oh, about halfway up. I was like, you need way stronger triceps. But a friend of his doesn't think it's his triceps. I go, but his friend is very strong, but he's also had some little newbie gains. And he doesn't think it's his triceps. And I was like, what do you think it is?
Right.
And I like this kid, but he was just like, oh, I think it's a starting position. Your starting position has nothing to do with that.
Nope.
I'm going to tell you right now, if you can't lock out a bench, your triceps are weak.
And
If you can't get off your chest, it might be your shoulders and your chest that are weak.
and that's weaker. Once again, that's weaker. That's the weak spot of it. Doesn't necessarily mean you're weak, right? You can have strong triceps and
You have found your mini max.
yeah, but like let's just say like you're going for 500, right? And you can't lock it out. You don't have weak triceps, but in that motion, the triceps are your weakness.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, comparatively in that lift, your
Yeah.
triceps are weak. Yeah, now are your triceps probably still stronger than the average Joe? Sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, and that's kind of like we've talked about before. A lot of people who, like when Ed comes here for the meet in May, when we have the evening weigh-ins on Friday, Ed usually sits at the front desk. He might go mingle around, but I don't know how. If I was a younger person, I would be asking Ed like a million questions. Hey, what do you think about this? What do you think? But it's that well, you're not on Instagram right now, being strong and posting videos all the time, so I don't believe what you said. Or you weren't a drug-free lifter, so I don't believe what you said. You still have to know how to get strong.
I mean,
I know plenty of lifters on drugs that aren't strong. That's sad.
yeah.
You are on all the shit and you're still not strong.
Well, and that's another thing I think that people fall into is when you have genetic freaks. Okay, for my bench, like you have Julius Maddox, right? Who's at least he's been close to, if he hasn't touched 800 yet. I think it was like 790. You have that Iranian guy who hit 805 on a bench. Okay, what are they going to tell you? Be 400 pounds? They don't even know what the fuck they're doing. They're just strong fucking human beings. Like if you're going to go to somebody, go to Jen Thompson. Jen Thompson is a 149-year-old female who is 51 years old now, who still benches 326.
But even her, she still has a genetic gift towards that to an extent.
Yes, but like for me, I feel like she has a genetic gift, but she's not a genetic freak as far as she weighs 400 pounds or she's 6'8", right? Or she's Ronnie Coleman, or like you know what I mean, like Ronnie Coleman. Yeah, Ronnie Coleman squatted 800 pounds for reps. Like yes, but you're newsflash, you ain't fucking Ronnie Coleman. Okay, so I think getting some people that are a little bit more that you can tell they had to work. They had to like work on the technique and like earn it a little bit more. And I'm not taking anything away from a guy who benches 800 pounds.
Yeah,
but I don't think he can teach me anything.
And he might be able to teach you some basic stuff, but he might not be able to take you from the mediocre to advanced.
Yeah, I think he might be good with someone else who's benching 700 or 800 pounds. You know what I mean? Like he might be able to like tweak somebody who's at, but I don't think I'm not at that level. Like that's not me. I'm not going to bench you.
Sometimes the people who are not always the best are the best coaches.
Yep.
Like Dave Tate was a very good lifter. He wasn't the best that ever came out of Westside, but Dave can fucking break down anybody's lift.
Yep.
And tell you exactly what's wrong with it.
And that's another thing about Ed is that I've seen Ed coach different people in different ways. And a lot of people that are online or people who are new that are good, right? We have some people in here that are new to lifting that are pretty fucking strong, but they only think there's one way and it's their way, right? It's the way that made them successful. Ed, like you can have anyone squat and it all looks different and he'll have you hone in on what's the hitch in your squat, not like you have to do it my way. Because I've seen him cue people in many different positions.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Like 10 people squat, and he'll give each one of them slightly different cues. Even though to like most people, they look pretty much the same. Like they're all failing at the middle. But they're all failing for a slightly different reason. He's
Yeah.
like, oh, you need to drive your knees out a little bit.
But he doesn't
stay more upright.
But he doesn't walk down and say, okay, all of your feet need to be in this position.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's not like everyone's doing the same thing. It's like, okay, you do this. This is where your problem is. Oh, you look like you have the same problem, but your setup's different and your hips are different. So this is that's where I find like good coaches are, right? That it's not just my way or the highway. It's that we're all human, but we're all different.
Yeah.
Like we all have different levers. We all have different movement points. We all have different movement patterns. We're all different. We're all stronger in different parts of a lift. How do you make that person better?
Yeah. I think knowing the difference in that, and everybody's going to be different, but I think, some of the worst is the go big or go home. And there's so much information out there now. Also just the idea of believing one person and what they do. And just because somebody has done one powerlifting meet or one bodybuilding show or one marathon does not mean they know everything that is to be known. What do you think's worst you got, Matt? Just to lift weights?
Oh yeah, just touching weights. I should never have done that.
Yeah.
Should never have done that. Should have stuck with speed walking.
Damn it, I was just going to say that too.
Those speed walkers do like 6-minute miles walking.
Yeah, there's an Olympic sport now.
Yeah.
Do you have to wear the New Balances?
The white ones.
Maybe.
Yeah, with the blue end on them.
Yeah.
Maybe. I think consistency is, like consistency and then changing it up. I think for me, as I look back, were like some of my biggest issues. Like whatever new muscular development program came out, it's like, fuck yeah, I'm gonna do this and get juicy. And then like you do that for a while, and then some other new program would come out, or they would come out with some new version of creatine, right? And like, oh, I'm gonna do that. And it's like the lack of consistency. The other one that's kind of come to mind lately has been like having more focus on what you're training for. Like if you're trying to train to be like a bodybuilder versus strong versus like calisthenics or some kind of athletics, like slightly different training is needed for each of those. And a lot of the magazines and Instagram influencers will show you like all these multi-dimensional movements, like the plank with a kettlebell row is like, oh, you got to work all these different things. And I'm like,
The renegade row?
Is that what it is? Where like you're in like a plank and you do,
I believe
okay.
so.
They're like, oh, you get to work your back and your bicep and your core and all this stuff. And it's like, yeah, but like none of them are getting worked efficiency. You're not, if you want to work your back, go grab the fucking hammer row and do that. If you're trying to work your core, go do like leg raises or knee ups.
The fucking
like
ab
that.
wheel.
Or the ab wheel or do something like that. But like you do there's these things that are out there that like give this misconception of like, oh shit, in one movement I can work all of these and they're all getting blasted. And so I'm gonna get super jacked in all three of these areas at the same time. And
It's the functional training idea.
yeah, it's like, no. Like core stability, like some of that stuff is great because having a stable core is cool. And so you want to have some kind of flexion in these different planes. But if like you're just trying to get jacked, doing like a suitcase carry is not going to get like your core just jacked like if you're trying to go on stage. So if you were trying to go on stage, that's a different type of movement that's needed.
And another thing is more's better. That was actually my mindset. And I think it's like CrossFitters' mindset. I think a lot of people's mindset is that more is always better. And that's not understanding what's happening. Right. So, and I understand it. Like I get it. Like if you told me that if I squatted, if I had to do X by a certain date for $1 million, I'm going to probably do it every day. Right. That's your normal mindset. That's not going to get you there. Right. Because you're just going to break down. So trying to find out the right amount of exercise to do for your goal. Right. And the best thing is I love it when I want to be bigger, faster, stronger, leaner, more athletic. Okay. Pick one.
That's not happening.
Okay. Pick one, maybe
Are you
two.
a newbie?
Yeah.
Are you like 50 pounds overweight and like you haven't touched a weight before? All right, cool. We can do all that.
Yeah.
But then,
Yeah.
like after 6 months, then we have to fix it.
Well, it's like, going back to Ed again. It's not what you can do. It's what you can recover from.
Yep.
Doesn't matter if you can just piss pound yourself into the ground working out, but can you recover and come back in 2 days and work out again? Or can you come back the next week?
And that was what this guy who I think he's pretty good. I've been listening to a lot of his stuff, and he was talking about like lift as if you want to be stronger in 3 to 4 days, right? So if you beat your shit into the ground, you can't recover in 3 to 4 days.
Right.
So like if you want to be stronger in 3 to 4 days, lift that way. Right. That's the kind of the right amount of volume. Because volume is one of those buzzwords. Volume for like, it's what's right for you. It's probably for certain people who have been lifting a long time, it's probably less than you think. And for those who are lazy, it's probably more than you think. So it's really hard to face.
Well, I was just going to, off that, I was just going to say, like you people hear about auto-regulating or auto-regulation of your training. If you have not been in the gym consistently for, I don't know, 3 to 5 years, you have no idea how to auto-regulate yourself.
Yep.
What you can do to what you can recover from. Just like we've said before, or I have. I don't know if anybody agrees with me, but Conjugate / West Side, whatever you want to call it, the percentage of people who can actually do that program the way it's meant to be done are too mentally weak. It's a very small group of people who can push themselves to those limits.
Well, and it's who can recover from that too, right?
Well, and the idea is the recovery from Conjugate isn't that terrible, really, when you're working up to max singles because you're not taking that many. The volume and overall tonnage is not that high.
Yep.
So, but the idea to actually be able to push yourself to those limits is a very small percentage.
It's optimized by having those 3-ish reps at 90 or 93% plus.
Yeah.
That
and that's
really gets you that benefit.
Like Louis didn't invent max effort training. Louis invented West Side.
Yep.
And he put Conjugate together, which also Conjugate has been around before.
Yeah, he took a bunch of books from Russia.
Right. But it translated into like a template that dummies can understand.
But he made West Side, which he made the environment to train in.
Yep.
So training at West Side is the environment. The people that are pushing themselves to go till they almost fucking die training. Like those guys, and if you watch West Side versus the World, those dudes were willing to fucking die to outlift the other person.
Yep.
And the amount of people who can do that, Conjugate's a training methodology. West Side is a place and an environment. Like I said, I was lucky enough to go out there and train, and they weren't all there, but I trained next with Louis, and that was enough to not be a pussy.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm not going to fucking lift like a pussy while Louis leaning against the rack watching me train.
Yeah.
So,
like, I'm not going to impress him, but I'm not going to disappoint him.
And he was fairly impressed for what he said.
Huh.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think he's going to lie.
Yeah.
I don't think he's going to blow smoke up your ass.
But you know, what's funny was the conversations with him, you could tell changed a little bit after that. Because then he was like, even when I used to call him, once he kind of figures out what you're talking to, like, I'm sure he didn't draw together that I had called him in the past and that I was the same person that was there training. But once he knows what you're talking about, he's going to talk to you about more. Once he saw you train and realize that you're not completely worthless, he's going to be like, oh, we can talk some training then. Because he obviously fucking has, you know. So, but yeah, it's what people can actually do versus what they think they can do. And like the auto-regulating and all that stuff. Like, I don't think people really know. There's like, oh yeah, I'm pretty beat up today. No, you're sore because you fucking, this is the first time you've lifted in like 10 years. Yeah. If you like walk on the treadmill for 10 minutes and then start working out light and kind of work up, you won't be this sore.
Yeah.
It's a blood flow game. So, yeah.
But like I said, I think it changes the more you lift. And I think sometimes the more you lift, the more diligent you have to be with your programming.
And training will get less fun.
It can be boring.
Yeah. I mean, if you've been training for a long time and your gains slow down, that's what I would say. You're going to find out who really likes working out when the beginner gains stop. Like all these young powerlifters that are just fucking blowing it up. When it starts to get hard, how many of them will stay in the game?
Yep.
Because it might take you a year to put 5 pounds on a lift. Or you might go backwards.
Mm-hmm.
You never know. But...
And then I posted something the other day. It was that girl, like she was talking about the guy's doing shoulder press. He has like 70 pounds, and he's like, "That's not impressive." And she's like, "It's impressive to me." Like it's like comparison is a thief of joy, right? Just because and once again, I tell my clients this: just because you want to be better, doesn't mean you can't appreciate where you're at.
Right.
Okay. So. Like if I am just pissed off that I can't bench 445 and I got stapled and you send me a meme every hour, right?
Yeah, that was
we
nice
should
of
do
us.
that again.
Yeah.
Like we should do that on the anniversary.
I'm sure he'll fail again.
Just every year.
Give it time.
But if you just go around like, I'm a fucking pussy, I can't do that. Well, that's not a good mental place to be.
No.
You know what I mean? And we were also talking about like here, benching 435 is not impressive. It's not. There's guys benching over 5.
True.
Okay, it's not. But,
guy.
huh?
I think a guy.
I think 435 is impressive. I think actually, if you're over 4 you've done over 4, it's still pretty impressive.
It's just not as impressive here as it is. If
I mean, it's seen on a regular basis.
If I walk out the door.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything over 400 is seen on a regular basis, so no one's going to be like, oh my God, that guy just did 4 wheels. Like,
Yeah.
it's like after you've seen somebody squat 1,000, 500 isn't that impressive anymore.
Right. But for you in your head, like you have to, like you're comparing yourself to other, like you also need to compare.
And me as like a spectator, when I see a lot of people as the gym owner, I mean, 500 isn't like impressive to me, but it's still cool that you did it. You know what I mean? Like someone who's
like
new,
relative to the
relative to like you being a new, hey, it's a great number to hit. Now, are you going to like, dude, come back here and watch me. This is going to blow you away.
Yeah.
It's not.
Yeah. But like if you have a guy who you've been seeing training here and he's been going up, I mean, like holy shit, good job, dude. Like
yeah, it's great to see.
Yeah.
But are you going to just blow my socks off because you squatted 500? No.
Yeah, but I think
Now, if you're like 100 pounds and you squat 500, I'll be like, wow, that was pretty fucking impressive.
Well, I think that what you said, like talking about like who's going to stick around, it's like to stick around, you have to internalize what you're doing. Like you have to be doing it for you.
Yeah.
Right. The people who are doing it for Instagram or to show their buddies they're strong or to be stronger than the other guy. Like if I'm like, oh, I want to be stronger than him. And then I beat him and then he quits. Like, you know what I mean? Like that's like, you have to get out of that shit.
Yeah.
If you want to do this for a lifetime, if you want to lift and be healthy and enjoy the gym, like it has to be internal.
Yeah. You just have to have fun with it.
And then every once in a while do something stupid. It's fine.
Yeah, that's what I did. It was super fun.
Yeah, but
I got this.
Yeah, I mean, every once in a while do something stupid. Like you were making fun of me and Norm for doing our tricep thing, but it was fun.
It's kind of like a shoulder push down, really, more than anything.
I'm pretty locked in on my tricep. He was a little over. I was not.
Yeah, where's he been lately? Pussy.
His cousin comes in here. I told him to tell Norm he's a big old pussy.
No,
every day.
He called Norm while I was in here. He was like, man, I'll be here next week. I was like, no, you won't. No, you won't. But yeah, there's some bad advice out there, but the good advice is just be consistent.
Be consistent and
take your time.
Like, understand that if you're following someone on Instagram, their job is not to make you better. Their job is to get you to watch their Instagram page.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay.
And they're not going to show. Some will show their misses or their losses, but most people don't show their losses.
So they have to create content and they have to keep you coming back. So they have to change shit up. They have to keep doing all this stuff, right? They have to. That's not better for you. Like at your gym, find someone who you can work with, or find a trainer, talk to somebody who just wants them to be better. Like, but it cracks me up. Is like, well, so-and-so on the internet said, well, so-and-so on the internet, you don't know. And they don't care about you, right? So,
yeah, just remember, you can rent a car and you can get fake jewelry. You know, it doesn't mean you're successful.
Yeah, and once again, their job is clicks. Their job is not your betterment.
Yeah.
Yep.
And yeah, like Tanner said, be proud of what you're doing right now. Like I tell my clients, they do something good. I was like, just thinking, like, you keep at this, in like 3 months, we'll look back and look at how shitty you used to be.
We can make fun of your old self together.
Yeah, that's why, we always say be a little less shitty every day, because then you can look back and be like, God, I used to be really shitty. Now I'm just like
less shitty.
Less shitty.
Like the shirt said.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's our best advice for today. Be a little less shitty every day, but be consistent. Be consistently less shitty.
Yep.
Is there anything else?
Comparison is a thief of joy.
Yes. Yes. And learn from the elders.
Yeah.
That's why I believe that's why there's less injuries in lifting now, is because of people before.
Because we did a lot of dumb shit. Yeah. And they did, and the people before us did dumber shit.
Dumber shit, yeah.
And the people before them did even dumber shit.
Yeah. So pay attention to the older successful. And like I said, dude, next time Ed's here, I don't know how there's just not a line of people with like 1,000 questions for him.
Yeah.
Because he's like 1,000,000 years old.
It's true.
And he's seen the things. So
Yeah.
ask questions from people you can learn things from, not just because they put one meet on Instagram and they're somebody. Which, I mean, it probably is. I don't even know who the guy is now. They can, was like, I don't know, was Louis. It was like Ed. And Ed's still around. Obviously, Louis not, but
There are some good people online.
who's that really good USAPL lifter? Even Ed said he likes to watch him. Oh, fuck, what's that kid's name? He's super strong. But anyway.
The Mexican kid?
No, that's
Jesus?
Jesus Olivares?
Yeah. No, there's the smaller kid, but he's super strong. But any of those guys that have been around for a while,
It's not the French guy who like round backs deadlifts, is he? He's so fucking strong, and I love the fact that he does his thing. Like he looks a little cat backed, but man, he's freaking strong.
But yeah, find someone who's been consistently putting good numbers up for a long time, and just maybe reach out to them. And if they don't want to help you, don't be offended by it.
And for you personally, if you want to get better, like get better every set. Like every set is as good or better than your last one, and you will always go forward. And that could be one rep. If you were doing 100 pounds for 8 and you did 100 pounds for 9, you did one better, right?
Yeah.
So if you always do that, once again, this is the long game, right? This is
Power of one more.
Yeah, this is the long game. If you keep doing that, at the end of a year, you're going to be infinitely better than where you were.
And remember, there's 2.5s, there's 5s.
Quarts and platers. Quarts and platers.
Yeah. Yeah. Somebody's hungry.
I love some quarts and platers.
I would like a quarter pounder. That's really good.
All right, guys. Well, like we said, be a little less shitty every day. Like, subscribe, follow, share, tell your friends for all your training tips. And we'll see you guys next time.